bite?
I had West Nile virus from a mosquito.
He had a reaction to cockroach allergens.
Threats to your health can come from unexpected places. Get the facts. Visit pestrule.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
In World War I, American fighter pilots covering a plane's rear position coined the phrase, "I've got your six," to mean I've got your back. Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org using the number 6.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Guys, one at a time, as we leave in the meeting room, shaking his hand and showing our gratitude, reminding him of the impact that he's had on us. Probably the most emotional exit meeting that I had in my past 9 years of my career. But hats off to Mike T. And I told him this at the last moment that I got a chance to speak to him. He was the greatest leader that I had in this game. Not a lot of guys, man, cut like that guy, man. So I'm extremely grateful for the time that I had with him.
It's the Adam Gold Show. How are you? I am Adam Gold. Victoria is producing the program. Hope all is well in your world. Apparently winter is returning.
Yeah, I know. Don't forget to let the pipes kind of leak a little bit at night. Drip.
We do. We drip. Mm-hmm. We drip the kitchen faucet.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it just kind of blip.
Yep.
Blip.
Exactly.
Blip. You can insulate your pipes. You can put like a sweater on them.
A pipe sweater?
They like a good good turtleneck. I don't know. So we're apparently going to have a deep freeze coming up in the next, maybe even is it tonight or tomorrow night?
I think it's starting tonight because I want to say tomorrow the high is like 38.
Yeah.
No big deal, just 38.
They're just begging us to get sick.
Yeah.
Begging us
78 one day
to get sick.
38 the next.
Unbelievable. So the Steelers moved on from Mike Tomlin yesterday, or Mike Tomlin moved on from the Steelers. To me, this is probably as much about outside forces than anything else. I think Mike Tomlin probably had full support in the building. I think he had full support in his locker room, but maybe Mike Tomlin didn't feel full support outside of the building.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that because I have some thoughts on that. It was not a great night for the Carolina Hurricanes. No. We will dig into that a little bit. And I know we talked about it yesterday with Bob Herrig of Sports Illustrated, and I brought it up the day before when it was announced that Brooks Koepka would be returning to the PGA Tour. We got into it with Bob Herrig, but you'll hear from the two most important players who are still on LIV, and you will hear just how enthusiastic they are about LIV's future. And we will discuss that at least for a little bit. But welcome to your Wednesday. It's a Chip Patterson day.
Mm-hmm.
Chip will join us at 1:15. We're going to talk Panthers football with the fellas from the Panthers playbook. Or I'm sorry, it's Panthers playbook. It's not the Panthers playbook. We will talk about them. We'll talk with them about the Panthers. And also a little high school basketball history lesson. Okay, little high school. Coming up later on in the program, and I am excited for this. I am a fan of when it comes to sports, it's probably the most enjoyable part of history. I've said this about sports forever. It is probably the best history lesson we can teach. Sports is always ahead of the curve when it comes to civil rights. Always ahead of the curve when it comes to civil rights, except in golf. that it was very much behind the curve. But if you know your history, if you know the legacy of, if you're a baseball fan, if you know the legacy, what the Negro Leagues meant, or if you are a golf fan and you know what the what was it called? The United, I think it was the UGL, United Golf League or United Golf Tour, that played in inner city Baltimore and inner city Washington, D.C., in golf courses which are unfortunately now being taken away from the city. I'm not going to get into it. They are going to experience like a loss of access to inner city golf. I'm not going to get into it. It's terrible what is happening. Anyway, there's an article on highschoolot.com right now that we're going to get into today with the guy who wrote it, J. Mike Blake, about Mooresville High School going back and honoring the basketball heritage of their area. So we're going to do that later on. Anyway, all right. By the way, that was Jonnu Smith from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's a tight end, I believe. Mike Tomlin stepping away. Let's roll.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
We'll get to the Steelers in a minute. Let's talk about the Carolina Hurricanes, who last night in the second part of a back-to-back, after playing really well, even in an overtime loss in Detroit, and getting a point out of a game that they trailed 3-0 going into the third period, you might have thought, no big deal. Canes trailed the Blues 3-0 after 2 in St. Louis. Mind you, St. Louis is bad.
Yes. Keep that in mind.
Quite bad. Detroit, not bad. Right? Detroit was leading their division at the time the Hurricanes and Red Wings played. Carolina played great in the game, happened to be losing 3-0, which happens in hockey, happens in any sport, and came back, forced overtime, lost in overtime. We don't have to relitigate that. We don't have to relitigate calls missed or whatever. It is what it is. They were happy with the way they played. Last night, trailed 3-0, and you might have thought, St. Louis is terrible. Third worst team in the league, I believe. They've allowed more goals than anyone but 3 other teams. Terrible.
It's not good.
Hurricanes trailed 3-0. No problem. Nope. I knew. I was preparing the podcast at the start of the third period. I watched it. I knew what was going to happen. The Hurricanes were going to sort of mount the threat, but you couldn't change your mindset in that game.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes, to me, it was a game about focus and mental toughness, and they couldn't summon it. Now, this is not an indictment of the team. Unfortunately, on Canes Twitter, which I do not engage during games anymore, they indicted the whole team. Wrong. It's a game, and every team will stink every once in a while. The truth is that the Hurricanes don't often do that. But last night, they had no will to actually dig in and play the way they were supposed to play. It was scoreless after 1. Hurricanes played 10 really good minutes, and it was 0-0. Period ended, no goals. Carolina got a power play in the second period, immediately gave up a shorthanded goal. Alexander Nikishin, mistake at the offensive blue line, whatever. Again, I'm not indicting him or anybody. As a group, the Hurricanes did not have the will to get to their game, to do what was necessary to get to their game. That was the problem. There's a built-in excuse, right? Second half, back-to-back. Played great in Detroit. Obviously, he didn't win, but he played great in Detroit. Rod Brindamore. Is it because it's the second half of a back-to-back?
This is part of being a pro, though. Like we've gone through this in other games, too, here this year, where we've had these stretches of 3 and 4 and travel and kind of had the same result. It's where you have to buckle down a little more and not look the other way. We were looking for, like, he hit it right on the head. We're looking for a different way to do things, and this team is not able to do that.
It's like, here's the thing. There are times where the Hurricanes can get away with playing a little bit loose, where they just go out, freewheel it, skate around, because they have players who can play that way. Aho, Ehlers, Svechnikov, Blake, Eve Stankoven, Hall. They have players who can play that style effectively. I mean, because they're incredibly talented players. Shane Gostisbehere, he'd be happy to skate all over the place and, contribute to goals being scored. But you have to be able to do the other things, too. And last night, the Hurricanes really weren't interested in doing the other things. Rod Brindamore said he could see that from the beginning.
You get to see how we return pucks over. It's not how we play, and they capitalized. They played a good team game and structured how they're supposed to, and we're trying to do other things, and it never works.
It was one of those nights at work.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right. My 2 big takeaways from the game, because Carolina did have one line that was playing right. And believe it or not, it was not the Stahl, Martinook, Jarvis line. The line that was most effective last night was Jankowski, Kotkaniemi, and Robinson. It is not a coincidence that line had more rebound opportunities than the other 3 lines combined, because they made an effort to get to the front of the net, to get in between the face-off circles. I thought Jesperi Kotkaniemi played a great game last night. It was my first star. I got to give out 3 stars. The answer is there weren't any.
Yeah.
But I got to give out 3 stars.
Stormy.
I've done that before. I have done that before. But I thought that Kotkaniemi played the game that Rod Brindamore needs him to play. So, but it's not the first time I've said this about him. He has done this before. He just needs to do it for an extended period, not 1 game or 2 games. He needs to do it long term. Again, I'm not turning this into a dissertation about Jesperi Kotkaniemi. That was the one line, though, that really did well, I thought. There really weren't a lot of bright spots. The other part of the game for me, and for people who have listened, whether it's the Canes Corner podcast, which is available after every Hurricanes game, or you've listened to me talk about it on this show, I think it is proper, it is fair to, at least in the back of your mind, have a healthy dose of skepticism as to whether or not Brandon Bussey is the goaltending future.
Right.
Short term or long term. It's fair. You can count on one hand the number of goalies who debut at age 27 who really go on to be legitimate NHL number 1 goalies, even if you're part of a tandem. There just are very few of those players. That doesn't mean it's impossible, and Bussey has been very good. Very good. But last night, I think 2 of the 3 St. Louis goals were bad goals, is not the right way to put it. Savable. And Bussey played both of them, I think, in the exact same way, and I think he played them poorly. Doesn't mean he would have saved either had he played them right. But he made himself small, and he's 6'4", and he drifted back when he should have attacked. And for the second straight night, Carolina lost the goaltending battle. Freddie Anderson was not nearly as good as John Gibson at the other end. And Brandon Bussey was not as good as Joel Hofer last night. So, like I've said before, The Hurricanes need Brandon Bussey.
Yeah,
need him.
Big time.
But if he can't provide what they need, then it's even more. That's why if you're Carolina, I'm treating the lead up to the Olympics. This is where I'm going to find out what I need to do for this team to potentially get them to a Stanley Cup. And I do think that they just might need to go out and get a goalie. Not an emergency goalie, a goalie.
Yeah.
If you're being honest, it should be maybe not even in the back of your mind. It should be, write it down. Mm-hmm. Canes might need a goalie. Took too long to write that.
I know it's a weird situation. I know our afternoon guy Tim Donnelly, he always likes to do first goal scorer for each game during the week. And
who was your pick yesterday?
My pick was Jarvis.
Right.
Yeah.
My pick was Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and the two chances he had from in tight, both rebound tries, I thought, I'm going to get it.
I know.
I'm going to get it.
Here it goes.
Yeah.
And it was nobody. It was a big old goose egg.
So the other day when Jalen Chatfield scored,
yeah,
wasn't the first goal, but he was my first goal scorer.
Oh, nice. See, I hate when that happens so often when I pick Ehlers. It's not even funny.
Yeah, but I was trying to go off the board.
Yeah.
He hadn't scored a goal yet.
Trying to go crazy. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Mike Tomlin. Spend a couple of minutes here. So Mike Tomlin leaves the Steelers with immediate effect. I believe 19 years. So we lost John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin.
End of a big era.
Out of the end of right. So that was, I think, in modern NFL history, the most played coaching, most frequent head coaching matchup. Tomlin versus Harbaugh. And I don't know. I think the Steelers had a very slight edge. Tomlin had a very slight edge, but ultimately those two they just smashed face masks for the better part of 2 decades.
Yeah,
and I think they're both phenomenal coaches, and the chances are they're both going to end up in the NFL Hall of Fame.
AFC North is just
Kevin Stefanski out, but I mean it's unfair to Kevin Stefanski to put him in the same category as Tomlin and Harbaugh. So anyway, the rumor is that Tomlin will not coach in 2026, that he is going to take a year away from coaching. I don't know what the arrangement is between the Steelers and Tomlin. Evan Cohen, our friend from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, thinks he might never coach again.
I think what's going to happen is maybe he gets this big opportunity, whatever broadcast medium, a significant amount of money. He will live in Florida or work in California or whatever he's doing, and he will never be cold. He is going to be the healthiest he's ever been in his life. And he's going to sit there and say, I have nothing left to prove. And what will happen is he'll flirt with other teams across the way. He'll talk to an owner of a team here and an owner of a team there. And then what's going to realize is like, do I want to work for this organization? I'm a Steeler.
Is a very good point. When you have, by the way, do you know how many coaches the Pittsburgh Steelers have had since 1969?
Ooh, no, I know they haven't. I know they don't go through them a lot. So,
well, let me ask you this question: how many head coaches have the Panthers had under David Tepper?
Oh, Tepper, good grief, like 4 or 5.
More, right?
Yeah.
They
That's
had
a lot.
Rivera for 1 year.
Yeah.
Rule.
Mm-hmm.
Who came in after Rule? Whoever
we
came in.
We had Steve Wilkes for a hot second, interim.
Wilkes came in after. Yeah, Wilkes. Maybe after Rule, then
Frank.
Frank. What's his name?
Reich.
Reich, and somebody who came in after Frank Reich at the end, and Dave Canales. 6.
Yeah.
Since 1969, the Steelers have had 3.
Wow. One hand.
3. Chuck Noll from 1969 through 1991. Bill Cowher from 1992 through 2006. Mike Tomlin from 2007 through 2025.
There you go.
It is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That is an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are other good organizations that have had a lot more coaches than that. The Patriots, much better organization now than they used to be. But, Giants run sort of haphazardly now, but for the most part have been a good organization. But they have run through a ton of head coaches. What the Steelers have done is unique.
Big time.
It is remarkable. All right, now, I want to say one thing about, and I alluded to this before, and we'll get maybe further into like what's next for the Steelers. I don't know. By the way, John Harbaugh is interviewing with the Giants today. He interviewed with the Falcons yesterday or 2 days ago, interviewing with the Giants today. John Harbaugh is going to coach next year, or next year, I guess. He's going to be the head coach of a team probably within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He'll just have to, he's deciding which team.
At least he'd stay in cold weather.
Yes. Yeah, although, it's amazing that there is not a domed stadium in New York.
I know.
That is amazing to me. And I think the Bills are building an open-air stadium also. Because, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, although they have had a Super Bowl at MetLife Stadium, which it can be nice.
Yeah.
It was actually for the Super Bowl they played at MetLife Stadium when it was the Broncos and the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
It was 60-some-odd degrees.
Yeah. It was
there were like heaters overlooking press row that were blaring heat down on the media, and it was like sweating.
Yeah, it's like fanning themselves.
Yeah. It was too hot.
Yeah. I do love a snowy football game. Weather just throws another, I
think we've only had rain at one Super Bowl.
I know.
One?
It's unfortunate.
It was the Colts and the Saints.
Yeah.
When New Orleans won their Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's where I think it really went the other way for Mike Tomlin. And I'm not going to associate why, but I will bring a quote from one of these players, or one of these people, although they were both players. Ben Roethlisberger has not helped Mike Tomlin. Roethlisberger, who, I think he has his own podcast. Everybody, I'm not criticizing him for that. But he has not been a supporter, if you will, of Mike Tomlin. But Terry Bradshaw, who carries a whole lot of weight among Steelers Nation, has been super disrespectful, and I'll just leave it at that, of Tomlin as a coach for a long time. He has referred to Tomlin as he's a rah-rah guy. Has nothing to do with whether or not Tomlin is a good coach. He's just a rah-rah guy. He has openly dismissed his coaching acumen.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that. See, I could see somebody saying that about Dave Canales. Because here's my thing. Mike Tomlin visibly is not pleased when things are not going well. And he shows the emotion, and he, he'll get with his guys and, say, get it together. Basically, you can kind of tell. I would think that's the opposite, because he'll be straight with you. He'll be real. Dave Canales is like, let me go to my life board here.
Yeah. But I just think Terry Bradshaw, and more so Bradshaw than Roethlisberger, have sort of fanned flames of ignorance when it comes to Mike Tomlin. And while I don't think that's necessarily why Tomlin is stepping away, I do think that you hear a lot of Tomlin, he can't do this, he can't do this, he can't do this. Mike Tomlin has been an elite NFL head coach.
Yeah.
Elite.
You know what surprised me most, I think, in all of this is seeing Steelers fans being excited about Mike stepping down.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of that, and that kind of surprises me. I mean, I get it. They think that they're in a rut because of Mike Tomlin. No, look at your quarterback situation. I mean, if he's got an actual, decent quarterback that's not on the end of their career or injured or, whatever, He's great. I don't know. It's misguided.
I think was Dan Graziano of ESPN talked about the fact that their drafting has not been great of late. Whether it's a quarterback or other positions, they're a little bit older. They've tried to piecemeal a team together. Tomlin keeps getting them in the playoffs. He's never finished under 500.
Right. That's
ever.
set alone.
Ever. Unbelievable. Anyway, Mike Tomlin, he'll coach. Any team would take him as their head coach. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll dig back into the Carolina Panthers with the Panthers playbook. Fellas, next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
As 2026 gets started, it feels like everything is right in college basketball because 2 of the 5 best players, and yes, best players, all ages, NBA draft prospects, however you want to play it, are at Duke and UNC. Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson are going to be one of the stories of not just the ACC, but the entire country in college basketball.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. And it's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $6.99. That's right, just $6.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now, and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check them out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is is Adam Gold.
82nd mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's why.
The Adam Gold Show.
Welcome back to the Adam Gold Show. The Panthers season ended on Saturday, but there's still a lot to look forward to. The Panthers playbook fellas are in studio. That's Dennis Cox. That's Chris Lee. All right, let me start across the table. You were so far away. By the way, why did Dennis get the big boom mic?
I don't know.
That says something. Never mind.
You trying to make him feel good around.
I'm trying. It's either that or get him a Ferrari. Never mind.
Compensate. I have a motorcycle.
That's what. It's true. You have a motorcycle. You're already there. You're not even middle-aged.
No, not yet.
Actually, I don't know. How disappointed should Panthers fans be about the way it ended, Chris?
I think the disappointment should lie in the Panthers showed in the last 5 games of the season that when there's expectation on their backs, they couldn't perform, right? But other than that, like getting to that game, having that outcome when everybody, including Vegas, said that you're going to get blown out,
right?
Versus a team that has an MVP candidate favorite, a team that a lot of folks feel like could possibly get to the Super Bowl and win it, and you had the opportunity to win and you had the lead in the fourth quarter. I don't think you should be too disappointed in that. But you were right there, and what you did in that game is what you did versus the Bucs, is what you did versus the Seattle Seahawks, but just in a very small fraction of the game where you just couldn't get it done when you had the opportunity to go to overtime or even win.
It is in the margins, right? They lost in the margins of the game.
For sure.
But, of course, they were allowed to be viable in the game, in the margins too, right at the end of the first half. That could have been the other way.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, easily.
You saw what you were there, right?
Yes,
Dennis?
I was there. So late in the game, 17-7, Panthers are out of timeouts because they're trying to preserve a clock late, and the Rams they're in the red zone, 4th down, not goal to go, but
after Trevor Etienne tried to catch the punt with his face.
Yeah, the wind was swirling in there.
Right.
It really was. So Chris and I were both there, but I understand the idea and the decision by Sean McVay. Hey, you know what? I can pick up this 4th down. I can bleed the rest of this clock. And I 100% agree with you. I thought it was like, this is a smart decision. But they just didn't execute, and the defense gets to stop there on 4th down. Okay. And then they march right down the field, the Panthers do, and get a touchdown. But then we also saw Matt Stafford throw a laser to Puka Nacua that hits him. Off his hands. Like off his hands.
Right.
That you don't see him drop, which either A, at minimum, would have put him inside the 10-yard line with still time on the clock.
No, that was a touchdown.
Or probably would have been a touchdown.
That was a touchdown.
That's what I said, at minimum inside the 10-yard line. So, again, there were missed opportunities by the Rams themselves, but you have to also give credit for Carolina. At least in that moment, they took advantage of it, as opposed to maybe being down 20 or even 24-7 going into halftime. It's 17-14. You have a little bit of momentum, and they got a 3-and-out to start the second half as well. So, again, both teams missed on opportunities.
No doubt. Real quick, because I do want to move. I want to look ahead, because we've, middle of the week already, we've looked back for a couple of days now. The only thing I was disappointed in, because the Panthers didn't play a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, and yet got to the fourth quarter, into the fourth quarter, deep into the game, and had the lead. My only disappointment was their lack of, real aggression defensively on the last drive, because at this point, you've been aggressive enough offensively. You've done what you've needed to do offensively without being perfect. And I didn't think Bryce was very good until that drive in the first half. It was good on the drive that got him the touchdown, but really the drive at the end of the first half was the time I really thought Bryce was growing into the game.
The gear from there.
Right? But you can be aggressive defensively too, and they were just too passive. And I get my guess is, because I haven't spoken to Giro Evero about it, my guess is they were trying to, we know the Rams are going to drive down. We're going to try to stop them in the red zone. And, of course, that lasted one play. They got to the 19, and then Matthew Stafford hit Parkinson for the touchdown, which is a great play by Parkinson, but still, it lasted one play. And at that point, there was not enough time left to do anything. I actually thought that they mailed in those 4 plays. I know there was a drop in there, but it didn't look to me like they had any plan. 38 seconds is more than enough time to gain 30 yards.
With 3 timeouts.
With 3 timeouts.
Right, to gain 30 yards to give you a chance at a game-tying field goal. But I felt like they weren't prepared. They weren't mentally prepared for that. Either way, that was my only problem with the end of the game.
Chris and I are Panthers playbook that drops on Thursday. We talked about this when it even comes to defensive play calling. Where's the killer instinct? That's the thing. Is where is the killer instinct from the team? And that's a coaching thing as well, because we saw the exact same defense. Remember Chris Olave late against the Saints, coming off your bye week. We saw the exact same
Shut him down
defense.
the entire game. Right. And then that last drive, he just got everything.
Now let's just let Puka Nacua run free. It's like, again, where's the aggressiveness?
Everybody's just dropping back.
I know sometimes Evero sent 5 a couple times on it.
Send 7 or send 2.
Yeah.
One of the 2.
Yeah.
One of them.
So killer instinct, Chris, or is it they don't have one of those guys? They have Derek Brown, and there's as good as Nick Scorton. Thank you. As good as he might be, they don't have one of those guys in their anywhere in their front. Let's just say their front 6. They don't have that.
My thing is, how will we know if the scheme doesn't allow those guys to be that way? Because we've seen times where he's dropping Derek Brown back into coverage. Why?
Yeah.
There's times where on 3rd down you see Princely Umamielen or Nick Scorton. They're dropping back in coverage. Why? And we saw in the locker room just this week on cleanout, Princely Umamielen said, "Hey, we have the guys," and he stopped short.
I'm sure he's going to say that.
Short of saying it's the scheme. Because that's a lot of what it is that's kind of taking people out of it. Now, yes, you can always get better. You can always add something to that room, and I think the Panthers should in the offseason.
Yep.
But I also think that not only just adding to the roster, they need to add to the coaching staff somebody who can help those guys get to the quarterback a lot more. And who can coach that up a little bit more, and maybe even talk, Evero, since he's going to be around, into not letting your best pass rushers drop back in coverage on 3rd down when you need them to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, Derek Brown needs to be pushing up the middle.
Yes,
right, and then you get the guys from the outside. All right, now to the real reason I wanted to speak to you guys is what's next. So I made a list of in order of in my view. Need of what they need. And I think the first thing they have to do is get themselves, like, whether it's a defensive end or another edge rusher, somebody who is like you can get Max Crosby. I don't know what it's going to cost. You can get who's the Hendrickson?
Trey Hendrickson's a free agent
from Cincinnati. Look, these guys have been veterans. Sometimes veterans don't work out. Sometimes they're done.
Yeah.
Right. The lifespan of an NFL player at his height might only be 5 or 6 years. I would hate to spend a lot of money, and all of a sudden you get somebody who's not, and Carolina's been there before, right? Who's no longer that guy. But for me, I don't care who it is. To me, that's the number one thing they need, no?
You can do that this year if you I don't think you have the ability to spend too much on that guy, especially if you're going to go long term. Maybe if you have a year or two. I think this upcoming year you're working about $30 million of cap space. There's a lot of guys you probably need to talk about maybe signing back. And then also if Bryce Young continues to play well, you got to talk about paying him. And there's some other guys that you got to think about paying later on as well. So maybe if you get Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby or what's the guy, Jalen Phillips from the Eagles on maybe a nice 1 or 2 year like prove it deal to see just to add to that room, you absolutely have to do that. You also have to have some inside linebackers because that I think that's a huge problem.
It was 3rd on my list
for the Carolina Panthers. I think it should be a little bit higher than that, honestly, because I think that showed. That was their big weakness. They don't have that quarterback of the defense yet.
Right.
And so who's going to be that guy that can lead the troops, who can rally everybody, get together, and who can make the play when needed, especially the right tackles when needed. Roseboom did a good job. Wallace did a good job. We need somebody who's going to do a great job.
I think, to me, those two guys are depth players.
Yes.
Not lead players.
Roseboom was brought in to be a depth player. Let's not forget that, because Josie Jewell, all of a sudden, the still lingering concussion symptoms, Roseboom was meant to be that depth player. And then Trevor Wallace dealing with the shoulder injuries and stuff throughout the year. So, I mean, his development's been a little up and down in terms of, year 2. We'll see how he does in year 3. But someone that can be a sideline, off-ball linebacker. I think there's a larger discussion when it comes to off-ball linebackers, because I heard Daniel Jeremiah talk about this the other day, is that how in college football everything's so spread out that you actually don't see a lot of off-ball linebackers on the field because you're getting nickel and dime corners and stuff. So you don't have a lot of off-ball linebackers simply playing in college football. And also, if the guys are super athletic, especially in high school, they get put on the edge.
Right.
So now you're just seeing a decline in that position just because of the way the game has just changed over the years. So now you try to get to the NFL. Well, if you want to run a 4-3 scheme, try to find good 3 off-ball linebackers. But being serious, I think that's why you're seeing a lot more odd man fronts, is because you just simply can't find those guys so easily. If you look at I think it was just last year's draft, there was only 3 off-ball linebackers drafted in the first 3 rounds, I think. Something along those lines. And I know Jahad Campbell was the only one in the first round to go to Philadelphia. That was it. Just because the talent and overall depth in college football simply isn't there.
I think Ruben Bain from Miami is going to end up being one of those. I think he's going to end up moving as kind of an inside linebacker.
You think?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to stay in an edge because he's got short arms. And apparently if you have short arms, you can't be an edge rusher, but he could be an impact inside linebacker.
I don't know. Jalen Walker had a lot of sacks this year.
Could he be a Luke Kuechly? Could he be a Thomas Davis?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. We keep pounding the culture of the Panthers is all about running the football.
Yeah.
But isn't the Panthers' legacy
Inside
inside linebackers?
Linebackers.
I mean, it's all about the inside. John Beeson, who was great here,
AJ
right?
Klein, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, AJ Klein was a backup.
Right.
To
me, that's
you don't
what
have those
Roseboom
guys.
is. Roseboom was, he reminded me more of AJ Klein, not quite there yet. One more thing for you guys. Dennis Cox and Chris Lee from Panthers Playbook in studio. I personally think they need depth on the offensive line. I think they might even need a left tackle. We don't know what the status is of Ike Ekwonu as it pertains to the start of the season based on his injury. But I think even if he was fully healthy, I think they need a stud left tackle to truly be the offensive line they want to be. I want to move on from that. I just want to say that. I still think they need more dynamic playmakers at receiver. Whether it's another wide receiver, because, look, I know it's just 2 years. I'm not Team Xavier Legette. I think it's hard to become truly aware of the position. I think guys show up in the league. The play earlier this year where he just stepped out of bounds.
Oh, against Jacksonville?
Right. First, to me, 99% of the wide receivers in the entire NFL catch that ball and get 2 feet in bounds.
Yeah.
The fact that Legette couldn't do that, didn't do that, wasn't aware, to me, those things aren't necessarily teachable.
Well, then even look at the Seattle game where it was a 4th down attempt. Now the ball goes off of Tedero McMillan's hands, but that play, if Tedero McMillan catches it, Xavier Legette lined up off sides on a 4th down attempt. So even if he does catch it, play's coming back anyway.
Right.
I'm like, again, it's just awareness stuff.
You should for sure look at free agency, I think, for a wide receiver. Get somebody who's experienced in there. And I think your top 3 guys, you got to go with Tedero McMillan, you got to go with Jalen Coker, you got to kick the tires a little bit more in Jimmy Horn. I don't think that you got enough out of him. I don't think enough was called for him to use his skill set. But then
I do like his future.
I'm not saying he's wide receiver number 3, but he's somebody that you have to use.
He's in your group.
But after that, you need a couple more in there, and I'm 100% with you. You have David Moore coming off the books. You have Xavier Legette there as a depth piece, but you have now a lot of room here to get some playmakers into this fold for Bryce Young. But also Bryce Young has to be comfortable throwing the ball. So that's also one thing to talk about with him. He holds on to it way too much.
This Panthers offense lacks explosives. They lack explosive plays in the passing game and in the running game.
They don't lack explosive playmakers, though. They have some of them. Tedero McMillan has shown it.
Can be.
Coker's shown it.
Yeah.
Horn has shown it. Who's going to actually throw the ball to make sure they can get those explosives? There's the thing. Who's going to call the right plays to make sure they can get the explosives?
There's also that.
Last thing here. Do we agree on Bryce in that I definitely would not extend him now?
No.
I like the fact they picked up the option. I think right now we know that Bryce is a quarterback that you can win with. He will not be the reason you win. You can win with him.
Right.
Right? but I don't think the jury is back in that he can't be that guy. I want to see another year where Canales trusts him to be able to get the ball down the field. I'm not fully on board with their commitment to each other at this point. That's all.
To me, I think I know I've caught flack from the Bryce supporters out there online. I'm not afraid to take heat. There's a ceiling with Bryce's physical abilities, and I don't know if that ceiling. Is
that about size or arm strength?
Yes, because
I don't think the size is a problem at all.
I think it actually is. I think it is size, because you sometimes when you see there's a little bit of pressure in the pocket, he gets skittish. Because I feel like when the pressure gets in is when he can't see over top of defenders. Because we've seen guys who are bigger, like that are 6'3", 6'4", they're even getting hit and they can still deliver the ball. Bryce can't do that. That's just a physical size limitation. Again, that's part of arm strength as well. I think, in my opinion, there's a ceiling to Bryce Young's play that can get you maybe to a 10-win season. Maybe. Again, if everything else around him is going well. Again, he still finished only 177 yards passing per game. Like, a lot of the offensive statistics for the Carolina Panthers are literally bottom third of the NFL. There's a ceiling that he can get you to that's maybe a 10-win team, but I don't think, again, he's a player that can take you any further. I just don't see it.
Just to add to that from the other side, there's a toxic circle. Even with what Bryce can do very well, he's not trusted enough by his head coach to make it happen.
Right.
And he's not – I don't think he's always put in the right positions to make it happen. Call the plays that work best for Bryce and his skill set. You know that he is smaller. I heard a quarterback say recently, when you're throwing upfield, it's more like you're throwing uphill. So if you're also throwing uphill and you have 6'7" linemen in front of you, you got to move that pocket a little bit so you can be able to see.
Right.
So,
Chris Lee, Dennis Cox, Panthers Playbook, Thursday?
Yes,
that would be
Thursday.
It would be tomorrow if you're keeping score at home. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the off season. There is no off season.
There's no
in
off
football. One-timers is next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the playoffs are here. Round 2, and every playoff game day, FanDuel's got a profit boost pack for you, for all customers. Each game day during the divisional round, more boosts means more ways to take home more of their money. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Get your profit boost every NFL playoff game day. The app is great. It's so super easy to download and use. So new customers, old customers, young customers, whatever. FanDuel for the NFL playoffs. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land loss by the year 2040. Together we can protect our family farms even as North Carolina's population continues to grow. Learn more about preserving your family farm at the Southern Farm Show in Raleigh, February 4th through the 6th by visiting the booth for the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And see more at ncadfp.org.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Sometimes the simplest steps make the biggest difference. Washing your hands often, staying home when you're sick, and talking with your health provider about vaccines.
Help keep your family protected against the flu, RSV, and COVID. Simple steps, big protection.
Defend yourself. Get vaccinated to protect you and your family from respiratory illnesses this season. Visit myspot.nc.gov to find yours today.
Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community.
Public Power Communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. If you're struggling with mental health, you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. LoveYourMindToday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here really care. Visit LoveYourMindToday.org. That's LoveYourMindToday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
So, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We're like 3 weeks away from the start of the Winter Olympic Games. Are you a Winter Olympics fan, Victoria?
Oh, all Olympics. Love the Olympics.
My preference is winter, has always been winter over summer.
I think summer only is prevalent for me because I swam.
Right.
So I love watching the swimming.
Swimming
which
is
a huge
great.
Chunk.
I like the swimming. I like the track and field. I like a lot of the Summer Olympics. And Summer Olympic Games have way more events than the winter.
True.
I mean, it stands to reason. There's limited things you can do when there's 18 feet of snow on the ground.
It's cold. Most people don't want to do stuff in the cold.
Exactly. By the way, basketball should be a Winter Olympic sport, not a Summer Olympic sport. Anyway, let's set that aside. I am much more into the Winter Games.
Yeah.
So
bobsled.
We are going to educate the people on some of the odder events.
Nice.
I'm going to do that as we get closer to the Olympics. All right. The only reason I bring that up, snowboarder Chloe Kim, U.S. gold medalist, superstar.
Yeah.
She tore her labrum the other day.
Oh, no.
Like a week ago.
Not good.
No. She's competing.
Look at her go.
I mean, you don't snowboard on your shoulder.
Yeah. Hopefully not. That's not ideal.
But wow, it's not ideal.
Oh, I hate that for her.
Yeah, I do too. So, but she is going to compete in the Olympics.
She's really good, man. If she could beat people at with a torn whatever,
she's amazing.
Oh wow,
she's incredible athlete. All right, let's do one-timers.
Okay, well, first up, you can obviously leave it on the YouTube stream or add us on Twitter. First, looking at our YouTube stream from Will. I would like Adam and Victoria's opinion on the Panthers' biggest need this offseason.
I've said it. I think it's on the defensive line. And it doesn't just have to be an edge rusher. I think they need more good defensive linemen.
Yeah.
I think the D-line has been fine, and Derek Brown is great, but he can't be your only, stud.
No.
You need game changers on the defensive front, and defensive end to me is important, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they definitely need to do that. I kind of laughed at first because I was like, a play caller.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Shade, but I don't know. I mean, the problem is with Icky gone, we need that left tackle situation. Are we going to trust people like Mays? But then also, Leggett, we can't really trust him, so wide receiver 3 maybe? Or, like we talked about yesterday, tight ends. I would love for them to have a legit tight end, too, because, they don't have that one. But
so
we'll see. That's definitely more than one.
And there are plenty of teams out there that, man, you have 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2, like Baltimore, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Chicago, Cole Kmet, and Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
Who I convinced my son to draft for his fantasy football team before the season started. I'm like, he says, but they have Cole Kmet. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be their guy.
Mm-hmm.
Loveland is going to be their guy, and he is. He is their guy. The tight end position, and you could thank Travis Kelce and George Kittle and some of those guys for bringing it back. But the tight end position is and always has been vital.
Yeah, and we haven't had a good one since
game.
Greg Olsen. So
that is true. That is true.
Unfortunately. Next up from Chris, how much value does Coco have, and how much do you see us getting for him?
Coco?
That's what it says on here, but it's cake.
Like, I love Coco.
Coco and me. Yeah, I know, right?
I was having this discussion.
Marshmallows?
I was having this discussion with our friend Ben the stats boy.
Yeah.
In the back. There's 2 ways to look at value. How much value based on what he's doing? Like, people look at his contract as an impediment. Around the league, the teams that like him, and there are teams that like him, it's not an impediment because it's the way they plan to use him. It's doable. I think he has value around the league, which is why Carolina will not buy him out.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. He's the man who invented the no closing cost mortgage so you could save thousands. Are you experiencing FOMO? Some people think it means fear of missing out. And in this case, it really means fear of mortgage overpay. See what I did there? Here's the deal. You could go and get a mortgage and pay closing costs and save yourself about $50 a month. That's great. All closing costs are doing is buying a slightly lower rate. Fantastic if that's what you're into. But you know what I'm into? I'm into always knowing that I can get the lower rate. So let's just say you paid fees and then the rate drops a point. Oh man, I could save a couple $100 on my mortgage payment. So let's refinance. What happened to the closing cost money you just paid? Lost. You lit it on fire. Don't ever pay closing costs. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. An equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
What's this?
We're expanding the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club.
That's a pretty big wrecking ball.
Well, with all these new scratch-offs, this place is going to be packed with new winners. Okay, let's go ahead and knock this wall down. This is where we're putting the polo field. Whoa, patience, Trixie.
This month's tickets are loaded with $90 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.68. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Thanks. Got my seat cushion, crossword puzzle, and can't forget the hand sanitizer. Okay, show me the waiting room.
No need for all that. You can stay in your car.
I'll stay in my car? Get out.
Yep, you stay in. It'll just be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out.
Go ahead, sit back and relax.
Well, I guess I'll save all this for the DMV. If only they took 10 minutes, am I right? I'm sorry.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly here, and I want to make sure everybody knows that Bailey's Fine Jewelry is proud to feature the largest Omega showroom of its kind, offering an unmatched opportunity to explore the brand's full collection. And this year, that means just a little bit more, because Omega has been the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games since 1932. So, if Omega and their timekeeping and all of the technology and innovation that you can have on your wrist is good enough in the extreme cold, high speeds, and intense physical conditions of the Olympics, downhill skiing, speed skating, where every 10th of a second matters, well, guess what? It has to be good enough for you. And, in my personal opinion, they also look so darn sharp. I am a massive fan of Omega watches, luxury timepieces, and that's why you should stop out at the largest Omega boutique of its kind inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location.
Batter up! The Durham Bulls are hiring for seasonal, part-time, and game day positions at our job fair Saturday morning, January 24th from 10 to 1 at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. You could move forward in the hiring process the same day. Our schedules work around your life. Whether you're a student, parent, or juggling another job, no experience required, just passion. Be part of the experience that turns first-time guests into Bulls fans for life. The Durham Bulls Season Job Fair, January 24th from 10 to 1. See you at the ballpark.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
The Big Ten Conference has leverage right now because if the SEC agrees to a 24-team playoff 2 or 3 years later, the Big Ten will agree to a 16-team playoff now. That's very important. It's all about leverage. But if Tony Petitti and SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey cannot agree on this by the January 23rd deadline, it is going to stay at 12 teams next year. And I asked multiple sources, hey, what's your gut feeling about this? What's going to happen? And everyone I've asked that question has said, I think it's going to stay at 12 because I don't think these two gentlemen can agree.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Heather Dinich, old friend of ours. What she just talked about, though, and we'll introduce ourselves to you in a second, but what she just talked about there, the further expansion and then the further guaranteed expansion of the college football playoff, disgusts me. It's not a disgusting topic, but greed disgusts me. And that's what that's about. I couldn't, the game of college football is probably better than it's ever been in terms of allowing more teams a chance. We're going to talk to Chip Patterson about this coming up in less than 15 minutes now. The game itself, better, I think, than it has ever been in college football. At least in modern college football. The sport, which then encompasses how it's governed, how it's structured, is arguably the worst it's ever been. It's an embarrassment. The new president of the University of Michigan is one of those people who was advocating for a private equity Super League. Okay. I think we're going to end up with the Super League anyway, but I think it'll be loosely, and I think it will be loosely tied to the universities. But private equity, man. Holy cow.
Yep.
It's like we can't have, like they legitimately want to take away the college part of college football. And I'm not talking about the academics. I am talking about the association. They want to take that away because these people are only moneymakers. They do not care. They do not give a damn about the sport. I will say that forever. Until I am not allowed to say it anymore, I will say it. All right, Chip Patterson again coming up in now 11 and a half minutes. Let's run it back. There are three things I want to address in this segment. The first is the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes were no good last night. If you want more of my thoughts on the Hurricanes, you can go to the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. While you're there, subscribe to it, download it, rate, review, like, share, tell your friends. We also do it live on YouTube after every Hurricanes game, so by all means, go there, hang out with us after games, as friends of ours from around the globe often do. So we'll be there again Friday night when the Hurricanes play the Florida Panthers.
Yikes.
The least said about last night, the better, but I have just one major question coming off of last night. Look, teams, players play badly every once in a while. The Hurricanes played badly last night. And maybe Brandon Bussey was a symptom of Carolina's overall game last night. But the Hurricanes needed a lot better from Brandon Bussey last night, too, and didn't get it. And I don't know. I'm maybe until I get a whole lot more than the 20 games he has played. 20 games? 19. He is now 16-3-1.
Yeah, still not terrible.
16-3-1 is 20. Sorry. Duh. I need more than the 20 games to be fully bought in. So every time I see what I saw last night, it makes me wonder if, man, that was fun. I loved it, and I love him, and I think he is an NHL goalie. But the Hurricanes need a guy that they can put in the net and get deep into the playoffs. Last night wasn't it. I'll just stop right there. All right, Mike Tomlin, the used-to-be head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you know how many head coaches the Cleveland Browns have had since the Steelers hired Chuck Noll in 1969? The Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969. Can you guess how many head coaches the Browns have had, excluding interims? Like, if you just finished the season, no, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
How many head coaches they have hired? Can you guess since 1969, Victoria? Browns.
Let's go the Browns. It's going to be more than the Steelers. Let's go 10.
17.
Oh, boy.
17.
Yikes.
They just fired Kevin Stefanski.
That's how many quarterbacks they have in their locker room.
Pretty much, yes. And they'll be all different next year.
Yeah.
Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, our friend, wonders if we've seen the last of Mike Tomlin.
I think what's going to happen is maybe he gets this big opportunity, whatever broadcast medium, a significant amount of money. He will live in Florida or work in California or whatever he's doing, and he will never be cold. He is going to be the healthiest he's ever been in his life. And he's going to sit there and say, I have nothing left to prove. And what'll happen is he'll flirt with other teams across the way. He'll talk to an owner of a team here and an owner of a team there. And then what's going to realize is like, do I want to work for this organization? I'm a Steeler.
I'm a Steeler, and when you've worked for an organization whose calling card is stability and consistency, it is very, very hard to find that elsewhere.
Guess we can count us out, us being Panthers.
Here's the thing. I would not count Carolina out.
I would love it.
I would not. And
come on down, Mike.
The best thing that could happen to the Steelers, rather to the Panthers, to the Jets, is Tomlin not coaching this year.
Yeah.
After next year, Jets will have a better idea of who Aaron Glenn is as a head coach. I actually have great faith that he will be good.
A gap year would do him good.
Tomlin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Relax. Chill. All right. One more thing. So yesterday we talked a lot about the news came down Monday that Brooks Koepka was leaving LIV, going to rejoin the PGA Tour. Blah blah blah. There's a membership return program that Koepka and only 3 other human beings are eligible for: Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Cam Smith, to return to the PGA Tour. Well, Koepka's taking it, and we got into it yesterday. Rahm and DeChambeau were on a panel yesterday as LIV Golf is ready to launch their 2026 season, and they're fired up to return to LIV. Here's the brief Q&A with a media member and Bryson and then John.
And I'm just curious if you want to share your thoughts on some of the recent developments.
Look, I'm contracted through 2026, so excited about this year.
That's Bryson.
All right, and John, I would ask the same thing to you as well. Yeah, I'm not planning on going anywhere.
All right.
Who's not excited?
I know.
Who's not fired up for another year of the...
Woo!
Look, I think Bryson is different. I think Jon Rahm realizes now that he made a mistake. Well, not now. He realized it well ago that he made a mistake. Rahm chose to go to LIV, not necessarily for an enormous sum of money, although that didn't hurt. I mean, it was, who knows what the number was. It's like something in the neighborhood of like $300 million. But Rahm really believed that by him going, it would expedite the reunification of the PGA Tour and that tour. And it worked the opposite. DeChambeau is a little different as a person. I'm not necessarily a fan of him at all, but, and I'm not trying to disparage him intellectually. I don't really think that Bryson has a grasp or cares to, and you don't have to. This is not an indictment. I don't think he really cares much about the history and fabric of professional golf and the tour. Bryson is different. Bryson is a content creator. And I said this at the Masters this past year when DeChambeau and McIlroy were playing together. These are the 2 most popular players in the sport. One of them is popular among the game, golf. The other is a social media phenomenon. And again, that isn't an indictment of DeChambeau either. That is just a reality. DeChambeau probably has more fans than Rory does because DeChambeau's fans cross all sorts of lines. It's kids who might not even be into golf, but are into cool things online. And that's what DeChambeau has done. In many ways, DeChambeau is brilliant in terms of him being able to create a brand for himself and recognize what that brand is and all of that. McIlroy is simply the most popular golfer in the professional game in terms of golf. And it was cool to watch those 2 things kind of coexist. And, McIlroy ended up winning the Masters regardless. But DeChambeau, if he decided to go back to the PGA Tour, I think LIV might cease operations immediately if they lost DeChambeau. Rahm is the best golfer that they have, but not really a needle mover apart from he's a great golfer. Anyway, they are obviously fired up for another year. I'm under contract through 2026. I'm not planning on going anywhere.
Yeah, real excited.
Yep, fired up. All right, when we come back, Chip Patterson will join us. We will talk about the future of the playoff, the transfer portal, and, oh, by the way, Indiana versus Miami. Next.
questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
As 2026 gets started, it feels like everything is right in college basketball because 2 of the 5 best players, and yes, best players, all ages, NBA draft prospects, however you want to play it, are at Duke and UNC. Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson are going to be one of the stories of not just the ACC, but the entire country in college basketball.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-960-3377. That's 800-960-3377. 800-960-3377.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
There's so much to love about North Carolina, but we all want more. More boundless views, more pristine scenery, more wildlife, more adventures, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Properly disposing of waste is never a waste of time. It leads to a more enjoyable environment for much longer. So, when traveling in North Carolina, make it your nature to trash your trash. Leave it more beautiful than when you found it. And we will all have more reasons to love NC. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, in cooperation with this station.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Progressive knows there are 2 things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Monday night, it will be Miami versus Indiana for the national championship of college football. And at the beginning of the season, we probably thought, yeah, I could see Miami being there. And maybe we thought Indiana could be there too. But now that we're here, Indiana is a monster. An uncontrollable, destructive force, the likes of which I can't remember us seeing. What they have done to Oregon twice. What they did to Alabama. Borderline, what they did to Oregon last week was a borderline felony. Chip Patterson joins us from the Cover 3 podcast. I was listening this morning to the Monday edition. Sir, how are you?
I'm well. I actually, as we are sitting here January 14th in the cross-sport era, certainly for your unprecedented statewide platform and many others that embrace all aspects of college sports, it seems a little bit like a Danny Hurley UConn tournament run. Where, and follow me on this one.
Okay.
Remember, it was like beat everybody by double digits, right? Which is double-digit win after double-digit win after double-digit win. And you could like pinpoint, like for Indiana has Fernando Mendoza. He is the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
He ain't like a star, right? No, he's not Arch Manning. He's not this, way over the top. And those UConn teams are kind of the same way. They were put together. I mean, they had Cam Spencer was a transfer from Loyola, Maryland.
Yep.
You've got the right pieces in place. You've got everything put together, but the execution, and this is where it comes back to my tying it to recent UConn national title runs. They were just out executing everybody. And it didn't matter whether if you were Alabama and you wanted to play fast and fly high, or whether you were someone else and wanted to take it into a low-scoring grinder like a San Diego State. They could play both ways.
Right.
You just mentioned a couple of them. They did not. 13-10, Ohio State's going to end up being one of the teams that actually gave Indiana the best run for its money.
Yep.
And Miami fans will tell you, we beat Ohio State by 10. They beat them by 3. We feel like we're being disrespected in this from a common opponent situation.
Right.
But I just think that it is the right pieces in the right places and just executing at such a high level. There's nothing fluky about the dominance. Now, I also think there's nothing fluky about what Miami has done,
right?
Which is put together one of the most impressive playoff runs that we may even see. The fact that they have to start on the road at Texas A&M in College Station and then play against Ohio State and then against an Ole Miss team that's hot as fish grease coming out of New Orleans with the win against Georgia in their back pocket and wins against everybody on their schedule, right? Like the only team that had beaten Ole Miss was Georgia, and they got their get back in the college football playoff quarterfinals. So for Miami's path, it has been one of the more challenging paths that you could imagine in this format of the college football playoffs. So one team's out executing, the other team has earned it. I do not see it as a situation where, Indiana is deserving of just chalk it up. There are paths for Miami's victory. I think Indiana will win. Like that is my prediction, but I don't want to be dismissive of the path that Miami has to be able to win this game and in a very, very, historic manner, claim a title, the first one since the 2001 season on your home turf in your stadium.
All right, Chip Patterson is joining us here, as he does every Wednesday. There's so many things I want to get to. I hope I don't forget half of them, because I do want to talk about this historically from both programs' perspective. You know more about this than I by a billion miles. Miami, I do know this. Miami on the offensive and defensive lines from the beginning of the season and where we are today was always supposed to be and is one of the best teams in the country at the line of scrimmage. That's how they were built through Mario Cristobal. It's the most SEC-looking ACC team that I have seen, and I think they look more SEC than Clemson ever did because I never loved Clemson's offensive lines.
I think you've got the wrong 3 letters. I'm sorry to derail you already. It ain't SEC, it's NFL.
Okay, good point.
Like, it's just because I don't think the SEC offensive lines are that good. I think that
the top of the SEC offensive lines have been like with Georgia and Alabama and LSU. Those teams have had really great offensive lines and have put a bunch of guys into the NFL. Yeah. I just think that Clemson, even in their heyday, have been just good enough on the offensive line. I think Miami's offensive and defensive lines are excellent. How do they stack up with the team that Indiana just absolutely pulverized in Oregon?
Yeah, that the only thing that you can hope for, twofold. Number one, this is super nitty-gritty, but splits between offensive linemen, the amount of distance between each offensive line. One of the tightest splits in the entire country is at Miami. They basically are playing shoe to shoe. And because they're so daggum good, they don't step on each other's shoes, right? And they don't create those kind of problems. There is a rugby-like approach that we've seen Miami take that they can take in this game where they just get behind the wall and you just get 3. And because Mark Fletcher is a really strong back, and because, how many times in this playoff run have you seen a 5 or 6 yard gain where Fletcher hits the pile about 2 to 3 yards and then everyone just keeps churning?
Yep.
This is why this is important.
Yeah.
Iowa also has tight splits. Iowa led Indiana deep into the game of their Iowa City contest before Indiana scored the game-winning touchdown to be able to walk it off after one big clutch Fernando Mendoza throw. There is a keep-away approach that Miami can take because they do have a size advantage at the lines of scrimmage. The way that Indiana gets pressure with their defensive front is a lot more from the twists and the stunts, and it ain't pull your ears back and just try to beat you one-on-one. It is a little bit schemed up. Not gimmicky, but at least a little bit schemed up. So if Miami can continue to just ride behind the wall of that offensive line, then they can play keep away, get 4 to 5 yards a carry, and be able to put together long drives that if they finish them with touchdowns, which is a monumental task against the team that ranks number 1 of 136 FBS teams in allowing touchdowns and red zone opportunities in the Indiana Hoosiers. But if they can, then that is going to be one of the paths to Miami winning. There's also the fact that compared to Oregon, I think they do have a better defensive line. And I think specifically compared to Oregon, they have a more effective and game-wrecking pass rush with Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor on the outside. So I think that their offensive line and defensive line, like you said, are among the best in the country. I think compared to Oregon, I would give, it was maybe slight edge offensive line, but big edge defensive line in my estimation. And then I also, because of that rugby-style approach, I think they might be able to neutralize some of the damage that Indiana did to Dante Moore, which brings me to my last point.
Okay.
Dante Moore in 2 games against Indiana's defense looked lost.
Yeah.
This is where you just got to hope. It's where you just got to hope that Carson Beck's experience advantage, which is significant compared to the experience that Dante Moore had, you just got to hope he's going to be able to see it because he can't throw it. He can't push it down the field far, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have to be side to side. It's going to have to be short and intermediate, but he's got to know where he can and cannot throw the ball. That's where Carson Beck's experience has to show up big.
And that's where I was going to get to next. It could be, the fact that you brought him up is great. Is Beck, are they disciplined enough, patient enough to not make the mistake that will kill them against Indiana? Because as good as Miami is defensively and at the line of scrimmage, and whether it's Isidore or Bain, the playmakers that they've got, as good as they are, I don't see Indiana making the mistake that I see Miami making against lesser teams. I don't see Indiana making that mistake. Is Miami, are they mentally strong enough to not make that mistake?
I'm going to offer 2 pieces of contradictory evidence, but sorry, it's the end of the season. I've got a lot to work with. So, number 1, 12 penalties in the overtime loss to SMU. 12 penalties. 0 penalties in the win against Ohio State.
Right.
For the most part, it looked like this team had mentally locked in to playing a cleaner brand of football, as they turned things around and eventually made the playoff. Until 9 penalties against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
When you talk about the backbreaking mistake, do you know what I imagine, Adam? I don't imagine a Carson Beck ill-advised throw. I imagine a 65-yard Mark Fletcher run that gets called back for a holding on Samson Okunlola. I imagine illegal procedure on a Malachi Tony, trick play that calls it back. Those are the mental the late hit on Fernando Mendoza because you've just been trying so hard to be able to go and get some hands on him. They had been locked in mentally from making those mistakes until the Ole Miss game. Now they won,
right?
But whether it's 4 dropped interceptions by Miami's defense, whether it's 9 called penalties after being so clean in the win against Ohio State, I wonder on a human level whether playing in Hard Rock Stadium is a positive or a negative. Whether spending
I think that's a neutral.
I know, but are you not thinking about this the same way? These guys have been road warriors. They haven't played a home game since November the 17th. If I was Mario Cristobal, with all these wins that we've been stacking, I wanted this to be in Indianapolis.
Okay.
I wanted this to be somewhere where we're going to go hole up in the hotel and not do anything else. Not surrounded by everything, and that's a capital E, everything that is going to come with this game. But maybe this Miami team really is built differently. Maybe they are enthused and they are empowered by what will be an overwhelming amount of alumni, former stars, Hall of Famers, friends, family, everything that is just going to be rocking in Hard Rock Stadium on Monday night.
Chip Patterson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, you've convinced me that there is a path for Miami. I want just one more quick thing about this, and then I want to move on to a couple of bigger picture things while we have some time. I don't think personally that the setting matters that much because I don't think Miami gets anything from being at Hard Rock. I really don't. I don't think that there is an advantage to playing on your field. I think Mario Cristobal probably will have them in a hotel anyway. It'll feel like a road game. I don't think they're going to be staying on campus, but they probably do that anyway. Most teams probably do that. Yeah, most teams probably do that anyway. Just for a togetherness type of
definitely
thing.
Not paranoia. I promise you, it has nothing to do with paranoia about what these players are going to be like up to the night before a game. It definitely has nothing to do with the fact that I get to send staffers to every hotel room and know that heads are on pillows. Definitely not.
Has Miami, just by being here, have they established something, or in this era, does it matter?
They have established something. I think it does matter, and I feel confident that we are not going to talk about a TCU. And what I'm saying by a TCU is like one magical run that doesn't ultimately mean anything or result in anything. Because what has TCU done since then?
Nothing.
Beat
Carolina.
Well, who's amongst us?
Right. We're going to Dublin.
Yeah, there you go. So I think that it is, I mentioned it earlier, part of the way that these rises have to go is you do have to take out monsters. You do have to, like a video game, people who love video games know about like the boss at the end of the level. Right. If modern video games even still do that. I might be showing my age here. But, like you've got to beat the bosses to really prove something to the world at large. I thought that was part of Clemson's rise, Like people have talked about the Peach Bowl win against LSU, which was just a Peach Bowl win against LSU on New Year's Eve. But against that Les Miles LSU team, it was a building block that eventually got them to where they were going to be, which included winning national championships and playing for it in 2015, winning it in 2016. I think that Indiana had to conquer some bosses. They lost to Ohio State last year. They lost to Notre Dame last year. So what they have to do this year, they had to come in. They had to beat Oregon. They had to beat Penn State. Even no matter what Penn State was in, that was still Penn State.
Yeah.
They had to beat Ohio State. They had to beat Alabama, beat Oregon again. And for Miami, though it's a long time on the calendar between these two dates, this is a Miami team that is going to take the field for the coin toss at the national championship game with wins over Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They've earned it.
No, there's no doubt. The Miami run has been super impressive, and as somebody who grew up and I'm not even talking about childhood, but like early professional life, being immersed in college football. With the last time Notre Dame won a national championship, I worked for the network on radio that broadcast their games. Miami, to me, is one. I mean, that's a team that should always be near the top. They're a national program more than a regional program. I mean, they don't really sell a lot of tickets at home. They might now because they have returned, sort of. But to me, it's more of a national program. So what is happening with Indiana is wholly unprecedented. I don't even know what to relate it to, other than I'll bring up this. In
Leicester?
No, because maybe.
Yeah, no, that's I've had.
I don't think it's Leicester.
I've had this discussion with a lot of thinkers that I respect, and we've got nothing for college sports to go from.
I think we do have something with college sports, because to me, this is potentially Gonzaga. There's nothing ever in history that told us that Gonzaga was ever going to be this until they were. And now they're this for 20 years. I don't know how long Curt Cignetti is going to stay there, how long he's going to deny a potential opportunity in the NFL, or maybe some, Marcus Freeman leaves, if Notre Dame becomes, interesting to him. I don't know. But the way Cignetti has done this makes me think that he and it is sustainable at Indiana, which leads me to believe that it is Gonzaga. The whole thing with Leicester, if we went and looked at it, the Premier League that year
was down. Everybody came down.
Super average. Like they had 70 some odd points and won the league. Last year, Liverpool, in a relatively mediocre season for the Premier League, Liverpool won it with 85 points and they cruised. So the Premier League that year was dead. Doesn't mean that Leicester winning it wasn't amazing. I just don't see the correlation.
See, and I'm glad you brought it up, because you ready for the counter?
Let's go.
College football at the top is down.
It is.
That as the talent has been spread out, the good teams are not as good, the bad teams aren't as bad, and that means that Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State have come back to the pack. And that without Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State being so far ahead of everybody else, you do give the opportunity, because the fact of the matter is Indiana has the chance to be the first modern team to win the national title without the blue chip ratio.
Oh, is Bud Elliott okay with that?
I mean, we'll find out. I mean, because we honestly have been so much in the nitty gritty of it all.
Right.
And he's always said at some point a team will break it.
Right.
Like apparently the 2015 team for Clemson, the one that lost 45-40.
Okay.
That team was not blue chip ratio. The 2016 team was.
Okay.
So the Oregon team of 2014, Marcus Mariota, was not. It's come close enough, but I think it speaks more to the teams that traditionally have been. I mean, we talked about it on today's show. Talk about a throw. Do you remember Gray Shirt?
Yeah.
You remember oversigning? Like as we're sitting here talking about eligibility in the transfer portal, Nick Saban used to have freaks as his ninth linebacker.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. That does not exist.
Just come on and just show up to campus. If somebody gets hurt in spring practice, we'll get you added to the active roster. The ability of those monsters at the top to hoard talent essentially have left a product where the monsters at the top of the sport have come back. The pace car is not driving at the same speed.
Right.
Indiana, I do not know how long Indiana will be able to drive at this speed. I do know that Curt Cignetti is 64 years old.
Okay.
So do the math on that piece of the equation. But man, they are an awesome, awesome story because like you mentioned, Gonzaga wasn't constantly getting stuffed in a locker by its neighbors. And I think that's the Indiana piece of this.
Yeah.
You were the doormat of one of the proudest football conferences in America.
Mm-hmm.
And every year just stuffed in a locker. Yeah. And now you're the king of the sport, potentially.
It is incredible. And yes, I mean, Gonzaga played in a small conference, so they were decent, but they were not this. And then Dan Monson, I think, was the first to get them to a certain level. Then he left. Never worked out for him at Minnesota. But Mark Few has gotten there, and I mean, what they are is what they are. They're a national power. They've proven that you can be a national power anywhere. In basketball, you can't really do that. In football, you got to be one of the major leagues. But what Indiana, I mean, they literally are the second most losingest, that's not even a word, school in college football history. They have the second most losses in the history of college football, and now they are looking like this. They don't have to win it every year. They just have to be good to this level. Not to where they are right now. They just have to be a factor every year under Curt Cignetti, and if they do that, it's to me one of the great stories that we have seen. Very quickly, we'll let you go right after this. Chip Patterson, is what we have seen this year, and I know I asked you at the beginning how many teams I thought. Because I thought you were going to agree that there were a lot more teams that could win it. Miami clearly wasn't in your three, right? It was Indiana, Oregon, right? And look, I think everybody thought that Georgia was better, maybe Ohio State, and Indiana would be those three. Or maybe it was Oregon. But do you think now that what the portal has done, what Rev Share has done, is maybe expanded this pool of teams, and it's going to change year to year, to where there are 5, 6, 7, 8 teams or so that, I mean, the tournament has kind of been unpredictable. And that's what we were looking for.
That's the other piece, too. The last team in the field is playing for the national championship.
Yeah.
And how about this? Miami's rise to power, like as a true national power, has very much been tied to its relationship with Notre Dame, all through the 80s. Sure. and what that rivalry was and those Notre Dame wins. And then you force Notre Dame forces its hand. They hire Lou Holt. Yeah, you know the history.
Yep.
But the win against Notre Dame is the only reason that Miami's playing for the national championship.
Correct.
It's incredible. And so
maybe the Duke win over Virginia too, but that's another story altogether.
That's another. That's
for a future conversation.
Foil hat for that one. But yeah, this is the idea that the 10 seed knocked off the 2 and ran it all the way to the title game is super fun, interesting, and reflective of what I think the 12-team playoff architects were hoping we'd get every now and then. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's the 1 seed against the 10 seed. We'll see. I think Indiana wins.
I do too.
It is not a guarantee, but I do think that Indiana wins in the matchup between the 1 seed and the 10 seed for the national championship. One last thing here. The Miami, you talked about at the very beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. You know what Miami's preseason ranking was?
Like 6 or so?
10.
10. Oh, they got it right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you know what? The 12-team playoff is set up so that if the 10th best team in America straps their laces on and outplays the opponent, the bracket can open up for you.
Yep.
So, I do not want reseeding. I like bracket. I like that reward for the lower seeded team. So Miami finished the regular season exactly where we thought they were, as one of the best teams in the country along the offensive line, with some question marks at quarterback and else explosiveness offensively. They answered some of those questions. They won the right games, and now they've got a chance to play for the national title. It's cool.
You and I will talk more about a potential expansion of the NCAA, of the college football playoff tournament, not NCAA, next week. Chip Patterson, thank you very much. Cover 3 podcast, a must. I will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
Chip Patterson here on the Adam Gold Show. We are going to place bets. Look, I have said, people who have been listening to me for any length of time, you know, I was never a proponent of an expanded college football playoff for one simple reason. The kids weren't getting money from it. Well, now that the players are getting paid, I'm less against it. Still think it's kind of cruel that we're making college athletes play 16 games. Seems a lot to me. I don't like that. But at least they're getting paid. But this tournament, this is way better than I ever thought it would be. Way better. We will stretch and we will place bets. By the way, I picked a game yesterday that isn't going to happen today. We'll see if I maintain the same pick. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land loss by the year 2040. Together we can protect our family farms even as North Carolina's population continues to grow. Learn more about preserving your family farm at the Southern Farm Show in Raleigh, February 4th through the 6th by visiting the booth for the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And see more at ncadfp.org.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick, bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We're live on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and you can watch the show because it's always fun to watch what we do here. I say that not knowing if it is fun for you, but
it should be.
I will pretend. It's fun. Trust me.
We have fun and
No
we
idea.
make good facial expressions sometimes when, things happen.
Exactly.
Like people say things or we get a headline that's like, okay.
It happens. It does happen. We have an ACC Network basketball tripleheader tonight.
Oh.
Do you know why?
Oh, that's right. That's where they're starting it on the other side of the country. At like last game's like at 11 or something. Duke's playing
at Cal.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock.
Right. And UNC is like what, 8:30 or?
No, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
No. I will not be watching at 11 o'clock. Yeah. Sorry. You have just guaranteed that I will not watch Duke tonight. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. All right. Doesn't mean I can't wager on it. All right, Victoria, let's stretch.
Okay, well, our boss let us know this, which Charlotte Hornet fans might think that this is interesting, but the Hornets are going to be retiring Del Curry's number 30 jersey. So that'll be during March 19th, that game against Orlando Magic. And if you weren't aware, Del Curry was the 1994 Sixth Man of the Year from Charlotte, ranked second in career points scored for the Hornets in their history, 9,839. He also spent 10 of his 16 NBA seasons in Charlotte from 1988 to 1998 and still serves as the Hornets team ambassador as well as the television analyst. So he's still involved. Yeah, and he's the dad of Steph Curry and Seth Curry. There's that. So now is his 17th season as the team's TV analyst. And he has spent a total of 27 years with the Hornets as a whole. So the owner decided that they were going to retire his jersey, number 30. So he will be joining Bobby Phillis, number 13, as the only two players to have their jerseys retired for the Hornets. So
that's it?
There you go. That's it.
So Bobby Phills, Del Curry, those are the only players that have ever had their jerseys retired by the Hornets.
Mm-hmm. That is it.
No Kelly Tripucka?
Apparently not.
Kelly Tripucka was the original model for the Hornets' original uniforms, which were designed by UNC's own Alexander Julian.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yep. You can actually see, I think it's still there, if you go to Julian's on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill, the clothing store, the original uniform is there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fancy. And last but not least, So, people, you can tweet at me on Twitter because I love these fun little facts when you find them. Well, there's a rejoin about cornhole.
Yes.
Which makes me laugh every time I hear it. But Mitch on Twitter told me that, in case we didn't know, National Cornhole Champions, Winthrop University defended both its team and doubles national titles at the American Cornhole League in January 1st through 2nd championship event in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Because, of course, Myrtle Beach would have a cornhole championship. Let's go.
Whatever.
Oh, man. It's just fantastic. Thanks, Mitch.
Do
for
they
that.
have to drink beer while they're cornholing?
Maybe. I mean, there's probably beer pong at least somewhere within a, 3-yard radius.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That would make sense.
But I know. Exactly. Well, I don't think that's something we can bet on, though.
No.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Do ya? I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right. Let's crank it up.
Well, on the ice tonight, Seattle Kraken are taking on the New Jersey Devils. Let's go, Kraken and John Forsland. They're underdogs, so plus 125. Just taking them outright.
Kraken at the Devils. I think this is their first home game since everything kind of blew up around Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah.
See how Dougie is received by the crew, the crowd at the Prudential Center. All right, here's your local ACC basketball parlay. Carolina minus 3.5 at Stanford. I think the Tar Heels cover the 3.5. I do not think Duke covers the 13.5. I think they win, but give me Cal plus the 13.5. If I am right, it is plus 256.
All right. Well, since our basketball teams, some of them are on the West Coast, let's also look at West Coast hockey. So the Vegas Golden Knights are taking on the Los Angeles Kings. Not much of a travel there. So give me the Knights to win, and I'm going to take the under 5.5. That's plus 245.
All right, here we go. NHL. We've got the Philadelphia Flyers and Buffalo Sabres, who are very warm. Playing tonight in Buffalo. I want Philly on the road and over 6.5. That is plus 293. There you go. Wall of sound. You'll hear Live Golf excitement. Really? Not really.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Lock in with the Profit Boost Pack every NFL playoff game day with FanDuel. And here's how we do it. We got 2 games on Saturday. Bills at the Broncos, 49ers at the Seahawks. 2 games on Sunday. Texans at Patriots, Rams at Bears. You get a Profit Boost Pack both days. Take advantage. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Grab your Profit Boost Pack every NFL playoff game day. Bills, 49ers, Texans, Rams all win. Those are the picks. Bills, 49ers, Texans, Rams. They all win. FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable Profit Boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Pondering prizes with Cash Pop? Why pick just one pop when you can pick as many pops as you please? Up to 15. Picture this. You pick your pop, perhaps a powerful 7. Now pick more pops like a proud 9, a pristine 15, a perfect 10. Each pop propagates more potential to pack your pockets with prizes up to $2,500. So prepare for a peppering of prizes with Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Cash Pop. Play more pops. Win more prizes. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds charts at nclottery.com. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-5832. 800-390-5832. 800-390-5832.
Looking for the ultimate weekend play? Score brunch at the Dugout Tavern and Grill in Apex. Every Saturday and Sunday, the Dugout lays out a scrumptious spread for our weekend brunch from 10 to 2, plus $5 mimosas and Bloody Marys. Stick around for the games on our massive 16-foot surround sound video wall and $20 Sweetwater and Shock Top buckets on NFL playoff days. Or head to the gaming area for darts, pool, and vintage pinball. For the best hangout, head to the Dugout Tavern and Grill on Kelly Road in Apex.
Kids across America are going to school hungry every day. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Batter up! The Durham Bulls are hiring for seasonal, part-time, and game day positions at our job fair Saturday morning, January 24th from 10 to 1 at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. You could move forward in the hiring process the same day. Our schedules work around your life. Whether you're a student, parent, or juggling another job, no experience required, just passion. Be part of the experience that turns first-time guests into Bulls fans for life. The Durham Bulls Season Job Fair, January 24th from 10 to 1. See you at the ballpark.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
This is going to be a life lesson that a lot of people never get, right? We just got our butt kicked, right? That's going to happen in life, right? And not just Dante. Every single person in that locker room, every coach, every person can learn, hey, how do you respond to that, right? Some people crawl into a hole, right? Don't face the music. Some people will say, okay, let's figure it out. Let me challenge myself so I can get better. Let me go be an example to how do you handle moments like this.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Monday night is the national championship game. I am looking forward to this. Let's just be honest. You probably, how far do you have to go back to find a non-traditional powerhouse? Because it's been so long for Miami that Miami is at this point almost a non-traditional powerhouse in the sport. But basically we're talking every year. It's Ohio State. It's Georgia, it's Alabama, it's LSU, it's these types of schools. I know Michigan hadn't been in a national championship game in a while until Jim Harbaugh took him there. But for Michigan, heck, I think they're a top 3 school in terms of all-time wins ever. We talked about Indiana being the second losingest school in the history of college football. Not going to lie. Look it up. Do a Google search. What college football team has lost the most games? I forget who was number 1, but Indiana is number 2. I actually think Kansas might be number 1. Indiana's number 2. Most losses ever. I think Wake Forest on that list too.
Look at them now.
and they look like you don't have a chance.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you go back and if you want to listen to my conversation with Chip Patterson, he paints a very good picture, and I agree. And I think the difference is that Miami's offensive and defensive lines can keep this game very much in play for them. But ultimately, I think Indiana is too good. And good for them. Good for what, Kurt Cignetti has done. But it's very cool, and it does show. I've joked about college football for years that we could, before the season starts, we could probably go through an entire season and pick the games and probably get 80% of them right. We pretty much know who's good this is before maybe the last handful of years. Before portal, definitely before revenue sharing. But we could probably be able to pick an entire season and get 80% of the games right. Now you can't do that. No chance to do that. And that ultimately is good for the sport, or good for the game. The sport is a different animal altogether. We'll talk about that with Chip next week. All right, before we to have a little history lesson in high school basketball, that's coming your way in about 10 or 15 minutes, it is time for the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, we should talk about last night a little bit. Carolina going to St. Louis.
Should we? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I feel you. The podcast was in some ways easy to do last night. I didn't feel like sitting there and bashing Carolina because I am level-headed, and to me it was a team that just really wasn't into it last night. That's not a decision you make. It is just sometimes that's just the way it is. As a group, they just were not willing to do what it took to grab that game, to grab control of that game. They were willing to do it in Detroit, did it, in some ways got rewarded. Even though it was just a point, they were the better team, but at least got something out of it. Last night, they probably should have beaten the Blues. They should have beaten the brakes off them. But they didn't. They just were not willing to do that work. That's just the way it was. And from Rod Brindamore's perspective, it has nothing to do with a back-to-back.
This is part of being a pro, though. We've gone through this in other games, too, here this year, where we've had these stretches of 3 and 4 and travel and kind of had the same result. It's where you have to buckle down a little more and not look the other way. We were looking for, he hit it right on the head. We were looking for a different way to do things, and this team is not able to do that.
All right, we're gonna play the other one, but I disagree with Rod just a little bit there. But anyway, he said he could tell from the beginning.
You get to see how we return pucks over. It's not how we play, and they capitalized. They played a good team game, structured how they're supposed to, and we're trying to do other things, and it never works.
All right, now, first 10 minutes, if you watch the game, first 10 minutes, I thought Carolina was very good. But after that, they weren't. They were the opposite of very good. They were very bad over most of the last 50 minutes. I know it looked different in the third period. It was always going to look a little bit different in the third period because the Hurricanes are not going to ever quit on a game. But it didn't look different enough to ultimately translate into goals. But here's where I will differ from what the head coach said. Here's the problem, is that Carolina has won games where they did not truly dig into their details. They have. And once that happens a couple of times, it takes a while before you realize that can't happen, that you can't do that. Here's the good thing. It is a subconscious thing that happens. So, do I believe Carolina will play that way on Friday against Florida? No. I believe Florida will get Carolina's best effort. All the details will be there against Florida. Then all they have to do is overcome, what happens when they get a 2-goal lead or a 3-goal lead. And I think Carolina will have that. How do you unsee all the things you saw back when you blew a 3-goal lead and then a 2-goal lead? How do those things not creep in? Good luck. But I think Carolina, ultimately, my bigger picture is that they'll be locked in terms of their focus. That was what was really missing against the St. Louis Blues. All right, to the Mike Tomlin departure in Pittsburgh. Two things. The first from Evan Cohen from ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, our friend. He thinks maybe Mike Tomlin might never coach.
I think what's going to happen is maybe he gets this big opportunity, whatever broadcast medium, a significant amount of money. He will live in Florida or work in California or whatever he's doing, and he will never be cold. He is going to be the healthiest he's ever been in his life. And he's going to sit there and say, I have nothing left to prove. And what will happen is he'll flirt with other teams across the way. He'll talk to an owner of a team here and an owner of a team there. And then what's going to realize is like, do I want to work for this organization? I'm a Steeler.
That is, in many ways, a super complicating factor for any team interested in Mike Tomlin. When you have worked for an organization with that kind of stability, it is hard to work for somebody else. And there aren't that many organizations that have, look, nobody has the Steelers' stability, 0 teams. But there aren't that many organizations that have anything close to it. Maybe Kansas City, right? They have certainly, in the past, have shown some commitment to a head coach. So maybe it's that. I could see down the road a Denver.
Yeah. See, it's funny. I wouldn't say Jerry Jones is stable, but he keeps his coaches for longer than they should be.
Actually, Jerry Jones is stable, but I don't see Mike Tomlin working for Jerry Jones.
No.
There is stability there. The problem is you're dealing with an amateur, somebody who's playing fantasy football in the GM, who happens to be the owner. But not to get anybody's hopes up locally, I would not ever rule out the Panthers for 2 reasons. One, we really don't know whether or not David Tepper has learned how to be an owner yet. Based on what we've seen this year, we haven't really seen much of David Tepper.
Which is great.
Yeah. And it's not like the Panthers have been amazing. And we're 8-9.
Yeah.
So maybe David Tepper has figured it out. And I've allowed this for years. I thought he was a terrible owner first. But maybe he is becoming a good owner.
Yeah.
And he has ties to the Steelers.
Mm-hmm, he does, yeah.
I'm sure that David Tepper and Mike Tomlin have some relationship.
I know, because we're still figuring out, which I don't know if we'll ever know, but with Harbaugh, there were more interview inquiries than there were open positions. So with Harbaugh, maybe Tepper was one of them. I mean, we don't know what team was,
Well, there weren't interviews, just
putting
an
the feelers
inquiry.
out.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but I think they're happy with Dave Canales for now, right? So, and this is where I think the Panthers benefit, and any other team that has a head coach entering maybe year 2 or year 3, but isn't completely sure. This is a perfect gap year for you too.
Oh yeah.
So I legitimately think it is possible.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin is a Virginia guy, not University of Virginia, but he went to William and Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a Mid-Atlantic guy.
Well, and I think it would work in the Panthers' favor if he did take a gap year because Dave Canales and Bryce Young are attached at the hip. Like, they're going to stay together. So if they do the extension with Bryce for a year, keep Canales. If it doesn't work, not that I don't want it to, but if it didn't, and he took a gap year and then came back, that would be perfect timing for Tomlin. Just saying.
All right, one more thing on the Mike Tomlin deal, and that comes from Chris Carter, who not the Chris Carter from who we used to play, but is a beat writer for the Steelers, on who might be next.
With Mike Tomlin gone, I do not expect Aaron Rodgers to be back. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers would I think he valued Mike Tomlin a lot in this process. I think they're going to try to sign a guy like Malik Willis. Maybe they do try to draft a Ty Simpson out of Alabama. But I still think quarterback is a really big need for this franchise. If they wait another year and they do another bridge year, maybe this is finally, hey, Mike Tomlin's gone. They're going to go have a losing season. Maybe they finally have that really, really bad season that they haven't had since 2003. And, hey, 2003, that bad season is what drafted them Ben Roethlisberger. And then maybe next year that gets them Arch Manning in the 2027 NFL draft.
Interesting. I'm just trying to think of Mike Tomlin, who was actually born in Hampton Roads. So when, southern coastal Virginia.
Yeah. Just a little further down.
Just floating it out there. Not to mention that he and Lavelle Moten are tight.
Right. That doesn't hurt anything.
No. Come on, Vel.
Right.
Pull some strings for us. All right. Now, the LIV golf season's about to get fired up. Brooks Koepka made his decision. He is coming back to the PGA Tour. Apparently, he was convinced by Tiger Woods, or at least partially convinced by Tiger Woods. And Tiger really doesn't play anymore, but he is enormously influential, as you might expect. In many ways, just like Jack Nicklaus has been over the course of his post-golf career, like Arnold Palmer was over the course of his post-golf career. There is, Tiger is the GOAT. I'll fight anybody who disagrees with that. Not physically, of course. I don't do that. Anyway, but Brooks Koepka is coming back to the PGA Tour, leaving LIV. He had 1 year left on his deal. Bryson DeChambeau, who has 1 year left on his. John Rahm, who still has multiple years left on his, and others were at a press conference in advance of their season, and Bryson and Rahm were both asked about the developments.
And I'm just curious if you want to share your thoughts on some of the recent developments.
Look, I'm contracted through 2026, so excited about this year.
All right. And John, I would ask the same thing to you as well. Yeah, I'm not planning on going anywhere.
I like the right before.
Well, you know what? I actually like Bryson's look.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what am I gonna say?
Yeah.
I'm under contract through this year. Duh. And John is like, what am I gonna say?
Yeah. Exactly. It's like when your mom asks if you like the new recipe she made. You are not gonna say no. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Unless you're rude.
As a related story, not this year, but last year for Thanksgiving, Aileen always, my wife makes great stuff.
Yeah.
But she, I don't know, brain fart, too many things going on. She made normally, but she makes banana bread each year, and it's amazing.
Love it.
It's cake, not bread.
Yep.
Well, for whatever reason, she forgot, sugar.
Oh, I was going to say the bananas.
No. Can't forget that.
Bread. Yeah.
She forgot sugar.
Oh, no.
And she's like, what's wrong with this? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was the light version.
Wasn't the same. Honey butter solved a lot of the problems.
Oh, yeah, that'll help.
Anyway, yeah.
That happens.
Does happen.
But when you try it, you're like, oh, it's delicious, honey. It's great.
Sometimes it's just not the same. All right. We'll take a break here. J. Mike Blake from highschoolot.com has a great story out about a high school in Mooresville that for the second year has honored its historically black high school heritage through basketball. I'm fascinated by it. I hope you will be too. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
As 2026 gets started, it feels like everything is right in college basketball because 2 of the 5 best players, and yes, best players, all ages, NBA draft prospects, however you want to play it, are at Duke and UNC. Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson are going to be one of the stories of not just the ACC, but the entire country in college basketball.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Adam Gold here from my friend Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Would you like a lesson on how you can save thousands of dollars by not paying closing costs? I'm going to make it simple. MillerLending.com. I don't have to explain it. The website explains it. All I have to tell you is if you want to save money when you get a mortgage, whether you're buying a house for the first time, and oh, by the way, this is great for first-time home buyers, because when you're a first-time home buyer, you are not doing this based on what the rate is. If you're a first-time home buyer, you just want the American dream. You want to own your own home. Why not save thousands of dollars by not paying closing costs? And then when the rates come down, and they will, promise, Gordon Miller promises, the Hank, I'll explain that in another commercial. You simply refinance free of charge again when the rates come down. You lower your monthly payment, and you save thousands not paying closing costs. Don't ever pay closing costs. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
What's this?
We're expanding the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club.
That's a pretty big wrecking ball.
Well, with all these new scratch-offs, this place is going to be packed with new winners. Okay, let's go ahead and knock this wall down. This is where we're putting the polo field. Whoa, patience, Trixie.
This month's tickets are loaded with $90 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds or winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.68. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $6.99. That's right, just $6.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always Bo time.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
I have his jersey.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you have any other jerseys or just a Jake Delhomme?
I got so many.
Do you really?
I go all the way back from Tim Biakabatuka.
Wow.
Yes. Cam, Luke, obviously, Smitty. So, yeah, I've got multiple. 6 or 7, maybe?
6, 7?
6, 7? 6, 7?
The Adam Gold Show.
I am fascinated by history, and I learned what I did not know by reading highschoolot.com. J. Mike Blake, lead writer for highschoolot.com, joins us on the Adam Gold Show at JMB Preps on Twitter if you need. I did not realize that there was, I know we have historically black colleges and universities. I don't know why I wasn't aware of this. This is a me problem. Did not realize that we had pre-integration. We had all black high schools. I guess I know we did. But I know you tapped into that heritage for a story coming out of Mooresville where they were dressed up as Dunbar High School. You know, I went to college in the University of Maryland. I'm familiar with Baltimore Dunbar. Talk to me about the piece, which I found fascinating, and why it's making a comeback.
Yeah, so last year I noticed on social media, Mooresville High School was doing a Dunbar night, and it was paying homage to what was the Mooresville Black High School before integration. I think it was like icy roads that night. I couldn't make it out there. I really want to make it this year. And it was just an idea the coach had to kind of better connect with the community and honor that history. The buildings are still standing. They're actually part of the Mooresville graded school district and used for some programs and things like that. It's only 2 miles away, and they actually have an assistant coach on staff who went there. So they brought back some alumni who went to Dunbar in Mooresville. They had maroon and gold. So Mooresville is the Blue Devils. So now picture walking into this gym with all this blue, and there's maroon and gold everywhere. And across the jerseys, they ordered special jerseys, raised the money for it, and had a full-on Dunbar night. And, you know, I wanted to go. I wanted to see it and talk to people and kind of see how it fell into place. And it's just a really cool way that they've figured out how to honor that history and continue the legacy of an important part of that town.
You know, it's interesting. Again, I having gone to the University of Maryland and being familiar with Baltimore Dunbar, and it got me to go look at the basketball roster for that school, inner city Baltimore. And the head coach at the time, Bob Wade, went on to become the University of Maryland's basketball coach in the wake of the death of Len Bias and Lefty Driesell essentially being forced to resign. All of that, Bob Wade, who was the coach at Dunbar, and they only had, Muggsy Bogues, David Wingate, Reggie Williams. Reggie Lewis played at Baltimore Dunbar. The late Reggie Lewis. I mean, it was a loaded basketball program. Is there anything like that at Dunbar down here?
Not to my knowledge. That I don't think they made it to like a championship, because their whole history from those days was a little bit spotty, right? It was the North Carolina Scholastic Athletic Conference, and it kind of dissolved in 1968 or 69. Merging into the Athletic Association. So the ones that we have for championships, some of them are still around. There's 5 that are still standing. Hillside has a number of championships from those days. That's in Durham. E.E. Smith down in Fayetteville, Dudley in Greensboro. But it's funny that you mentioned, you know, Baltimore Dunbar. One of the comments we got was like an assistant coach with the Mooresville football team that said, "Wow, I thought we were doing this for Baltimore Dunbar."
That's what I thought when I saw the photo. It's the same uniform. That's what those guys wore. Yeah, same colors.
Yeah, same colors. Very retro. They managed to, with their a supplier, BSN Sports, that, you know, can get those special jerseys. They got like a generic looking Spartan that may have been from around that time period, right? So just really well done all around. And one of the comments the coach had, because he had met Dunbar alumni, again, they have an alumnus on staff, is he was talking about, like, they had a history teacher. He met him at lunch, and he said, "My freshmen didn't know why we were having Dunbar Day at school that day.
Right.
So I stopped everything, and we had a lesson, and we talked about it. And it was just passing that on. And that's why you do it, because sometimes these names kind of fade over time. Those alumni, like, they're getting older and older. Who's going to pass on the stories and the identities that happen when you lose that high school? It's hard to replace if you don't find a way to keep it going.
J. Mike Blake from High School OT is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So I just want to tap into that, maybe get you to expand. Who has this resonated with the most, and what are the chances that we see this maybe expanding into other places beyond Mooresville?
I think there's a good chance it'll start expanding. I think, well, Coach Armand Moore of Mooresville told me, he's like, I've had so much feedback. You know, last year was the first year, and it's late in the year, so maybe people weren't as aware. But But now that, year 2 comes around, more people are like, hey, how did you do that? What did you have to do for it? We have a school here that would be great for us to honor with a special night. And figuring out when to do it was interesting. It would make all the sense in the world to do it during February, Black History Month. But he said we wanted to do it against like a Mooresville traditional rival, so we'd have a big crowd. Also, February, that's only 2 weeks of regular season high school basketball. So you're like senior night and conference tournaments and all that is kind of looming large. So this gives a spotlight to just that history. And I've named in the story, like there's a lot of schools that, do have those names. In Raleigh, it's Ligon and Barry O'Kelly. In Chapel Hill, it's Lincoln. And Chapel Hill is one of those schools that has found a way to honor it. Their Hall of Fame for probably 25 years now has been the Chapel Hill / Lincoln Athletics Hall of Fame. They honor both schools' history and keep them alive. I think Apex does the same thing with Apex and Apex Consolidated. But I think you just needed a first one to do it, right?
Yep.
And I think that's now I can already kind of sense like the wheels in motion, especially because everything has gone off without a hitch, and it was a great crowd. And the alumni, I think, really, when they stand and get honored like that, it's just a really cool thing that, people remember what they remember, their fondest memories of being a teenager, that those live on. And
these things really are to honor history, and they're really for people who experienced it. And we're not longing for the days. This is not a Country Time Lemonade type of a deal here, but it's like the kids of today should know about their history and their what they're playing basketball and the history and the culture of it. I do wonder if there are enough schools across the state that would commit to, let's just say, not to compete with the Holiday Invitational or something like that, but if there are enough schools that would be willing to commit to a yearly event, 4 teams, 8 teams, retro uniforms, and just get together for a festival, basically paying respect to, those old schools, those old teams.
Yeah, gosh, I've had the exact same thought. It would be just a really cool way and educational. I mean, you can have them locally. I'm from Harnett County. There were 3 historically black schools within that county, and that's pretty rural, and it was even way more rural back in the day. So every county has one and probably multiple schools that they could draw from. And they wouldn't have to be people from all over state. You could have just a local tournament, maybe starting off the year, paying tribute, because it becomes so much more real when you see the jerseys, right?
Right.
It becomes so much more real when you see the pom-poms and the cheerleader team comes out there with special ordered shirts, which was a new twist this year. And it becomes just something that they're not going to take for granted, or something that they're not going to glance over when they think back to how this town got, how this town has grown over the years. They're going to think back to, well, we actually used to have 2 schools, right? And not just the one. I was a little bit more aware because I think and a lot of people across the state maybe can relate to this. I went to primary school, K through 3, at a historically black school. Now it's not a school, it's a community center.
Right.
And there's a part of me that's like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you had like the Shawtown Tigers wearing blue and yellow, except, they were on the bodies of Harnett Central's players, right, to honor that history. So I think there's got to be more people like you and me out there. I think there are history buffs and love high school sports that are in positions where they can raise a little money, order some special jerseys. The boys and girls teams both did it.
Yep.
And have a really cool night.
People want to read about just what's going on at Mooresville. J. Mike Blake's piece is called Bigger Than Basketball, and there's a whole bunch of stuff after that, but it's at highschoolot.com right now. J. Mike Blake at JMB Preps on Twitter. Thank you for your time, sir. I appreciate it. Let's make this happen. I'm all about something like this. I love history, and I am a huge fan when it coincides with sports, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
So, my brain is spinning here. Why couldn't we have something like this as an event? I mean, we're We don't have to start it big. We can start it small. But Monday is Martin Luther King Day. It could be the weekend leading up to this.
Yeah.
Get 4 high schools in proximity, maybe not even in proximity, but 4 high schools. It doesn't even have to be the 4 high school powerhouses. Doesn't have to be. It doesn't matter. All you're doing really is honoring 4 historically black high schools where, the colors, the uniforms, retro uniforms that they used to wear. Everybody can wear Chuck Taylor All-Stars.
Oh, man, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I could borrow some of mine.
Right, exactly. I have Campbell's Soup high tops.
Nice.
Chuck Taylor high tops. So, yeah, I just think that this would be an awesome way to connect. So, I don't know. Let's make it happen. When we come back, should we talk a little Panthers?
Yeah.
Look, it's okay. It's okay to see, good things happened.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of how they finished out strong.
Good things happened.
Yes.
Let's talk a little Panthers when we come back on the Adam Gold Show.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the playoffs are here. Round 2, and every playoff game day, FanDuel's got a profit boost pack for you, for all customers. Each game day during the divisional round, more boosts means more ways to take home more of their money. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Get your profit boost every NFL playoff game day. The app is great. It's so super easy to download and use. So new customers, old customers, young customers, whatever. FanDuel for the NFL playoffs. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
According to the latest report on farmland loss in the United States, North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land loss by the year 2040. Together we can protect our family farms even as North Carolina's population continues to grow. Learn more about preserving your family farm at the Southern Farm Show in Raleigh, February 4th through the 6th by visiting the booth for the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And see more at ncadfp.org.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This season, make the choice to protect what matters most, you and your family. Choose to get vaccinated for the best protection from respiratory illness.
Talking with your provider about vaccines, hand washing, and staying home when sick keep your family protected from the flu, RSV, and COVID.
Defend yourself. Get vaccinated to protect you and your family from respiratory illnesses this season.
Visit myspot.nc.gov to find yours today.
Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6'7". He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing, and that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love that.
The Adam Gold Show.
Welcome back to the Adam Gold Show. The Panthers season ended on Saturday, but there's still a lot to look forward to. The Panthers playbook fellas are in studio. That's Dennis Cox. That's Chris Lee. All right, let me start across the table. You were so far away. By the way, why did Dennis get the big boom mic?
I don't know.
That says something. Never mind.
You trying to make him feel good around.
I'm trying. It's either that or get him a Ferrari. Never mind.
Compensate. I have a motorcycle. Man.
It's true. You have a motorcycle. You're already there. You're not even middle-aged.
No, not yet.
Actually, I don't know. How disappointed should Panthers fans be about the way it ended, Chris?
I think the disappointment should lie in the Panthers showed in the last 5 games of the season that when there's expectation on their backs, they couldn't perform, right? But other than that, getting to that game, having that outcome when everybody, including Vegas, said that you're going to get blown out,
right?
Versus a team that has an MVP candidate favorite, a team that a lot of folks feel like could possibly get to the Super Bowl and win it, and you had the opportunity to win, and you had the lead in the fourth quarter. I don't think you should be too disappointed in that. But you were right there, and what you did in that game is what you did versus the Bucs, is what you did versus the Seattle Seahawks, but just in a very small fraction of the game where you just couldn't get it done when you had the opportunity to go to overtime or even win.
It is in the margins, right? They lost in the margins of the game.
For sure.
But, of course, they were allowed to be viable in the game in the margins too, right at the end of the first half. That could have been the other way.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, easily.
You saw what you were there, right?
Yes,
Dennis?
I was there. So late in the game, 17-7, Panthers are out of timeouts because they're trying to preserve a clock late, and the Rams they're in the red zone, fourth down, not goal to go, but
after Trevor Etienne tried to catch the punt with his face.
Yeah, the wind was swirling in there.
Right,
It really was. So Chris and I were both there, but I understand the idea and the decision by Sean McVay. Hey, you know what? I can pick up this fourth down.
Yep.
I can bleed the rest of this clock. And I 100% agree with you. I thought it was this is a smart decision. But they just didn't execute, and the defense gets to stop there on fourth down. Okay. And then they march right down the field, the Panthers do, and get a touchdown. But then we also saw Matt Stafford throw a laser to Puka Nacua that hits him. Off his hands. Off his hands.
Right.
That you don't see him drop, which either A, at minimum, would have put him inside the 10-yard line with still time on the clock. No, that was a touchdown. Or probably would have been a touchdown. That was a touchdown. That's what I said, at minimum inside the 10-yard line. So, again, there were missed opportunities by the Rams themselves, but you have to also give credit for Carolina. At least in that moment, they took advantage of it, as opposed to maybe being down 20 or even 24-7 going into halftime. It's 17-14. You have a little bit of momentum, and they got a 3-and-out to start the second half as well. So, again, both teams missed on opportunities.
No doubt. Real quick, because I do want to move. I want to look ahead, because we've, middle of the week already, we've looked back for a couple of days now. The only thing I was disappointed in, because the Panthers didn't play a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, and yet got to the fourth quarter, deep into the game, and had the lead. My only disappointment was their lack of, real aggression defensively on the last drive, because at this point, you've been aggressive enough offensively. You've done what you've needed to do offensively without being perfect. And I didn't think Bryce was very good until that drive in the first half. He was good on the drive that got him the touchdown, but really the drive at the end of the first half was the time I really thought Bryce was growing into the game.
Into the gear from there.
Right? But you can be aggressive defensively too, and they were just too passive. And I get my guess is, because I haven't spoken to Giroevro about it, my guess is they were trying to, like, we know the Rams are going to drive down. We're going to try to stop them in the red zone. And, of course, that lasted one play. They got to the 19, and then Matthew Stafford hit Parkinson for the touchdown, which is a great play by Parkinson, but still, it lasted one play. And at that point, there was not enough time left to do anything. I actually thought that they mailed in those 4 plays. I know there was a drop in there, but it didn't look to me like they had any plan. 38 seconds is more than enough time to gain 30 yards.
With 3 timeouts.
Right, to gain 30 yards to give you a chance at a game-tying field goal. But I felt like they weren't prepared. They weren't mentally prepared for that. Either way, that was my only problem with the end of the game.
Chris and I, Panthers playbook that drops on Thursday, we talked about this when it even comes to defensive play calling. Where's the killer instinct? That's the thing. Is where is the killer instinct from the team? And that's a coaching thing as well, because we saw the exact same defense. Remember Chris Olave late against the Saints, coming off your bye week. We saw the exact same
Shut them down
defense.
the entire game. Right. And then that last drive, they just got everything.
Now let's just let Puka Nacua run free. It's like, again, where's the aggressiveness?
Everybody's just dropping back.
I know sometimes Evero sent 5 a couple times on it.
Send 7 or send 2.
Yeah.
One of the 2.
Yeah.
One of them.
So, killer instinct, Chris, or is it they don't have one of those guys? They have Derek Brown, and there's as good as Nick Scorton. Thank you. As good as he might be, they don't have one of those guys in their anywhere in their front. Let's just say their front 6. They don't have that.
My thing is, how will we know if the scheme doesn't allow those guys to be that way? Because we've seen times where he's dropping Derek Brown back into coverage. Why?
Yeah.
There's times where on third down you see Princely Umamielen or Nick Scorton. They're dropping back in coverage. Why? And we saw in the locker room just this week on cleanout, Princely Umamielen said, "Hey, we have the guys," and he stopped short.
I'm sure he's going to say
stopped
that.
short of saying it's the scheme. Because that's a lot of what it is that's kind of taking people out of it. Now, yes, you can always get better. You can always add something to that room, and I think the Panthers should in the offseason.
Yep.
But I also think that not only just adding to the roster, they need to add to the coaching staff somebody who can help those guys get to the quarterback a lot more. And who can coach that up a little bit more, and maybe even talk, Evero, since he's going to be around, into not letting your best pass rushers drop back in coverage on third down when you need them to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, Derek Brown needs to be pushing up the middle.
Yes,
right, and then you get the guys from the outside. All right, now to the real reason I wanted to speak to you guys is what's next. So I made a list of in order of in my view. Need of what they need. And I think the first thing they have to do is get themselves, like, whether it's a defensive end or another edge rusher, somebody who is like you can get Max Crosby. I don't know what it's going to cost. You can get who's the Hendrickson?
Trey Hendrickson's a free agent
from Cincinnati. Look, these guys have been veterans. Sometimes veterans don't work out. Sometimes they're done.
Yeah.
Right. The lifespan of an NFL player at his height might only be 5 or 6 years. I would hate to spend a lot of money, and all of a sudden you get somebody who's not, and Carolina's been there before, right? Who's no longer that guy. But for me, I don't care who it is. To me, that's the number one thing they need, no?
You can do that this year if you I don't think you have the ability to spend too much on that guy, especially if you're going to go long term. Maybe if you have a year or two. I think this upcoming year you're working about $30 million of cap space. There's a lot of guys you probably need to talk about maybe signing back. And then also if Bryce Young continues to play well, you got to talk about paying him. and there's some other guys that you got to think about paying later on as well. So maybe if you get Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby or what's the guy, Jalen Phillips from the Eagles on maybe a nice 1 or 2 year like prove it deal to see just to add to that room, you absolutely have to do that. You also have to have some inside linebackers because that I think that's a huge problem.
It was third on my list
for the Carolina Panthers. I think it should be a little bit higher than that, honestly, because I think that showed that was their big weakness. They don't have that quarterback of the defense yet.
Right.
And so who's going to be that guy that can lead the troops, who can rally everybody, get together, and who can make the play when needed, especially the right tackles when needed. Roseboom did a good job. Wallace did a good job. We need somebody who's going to do a great job.
I think, to me, those two guys are depth players.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see. That was Dennis Cox and Chris Lee, Panthers playbook. Here's the thing about we talk all when we discuss the Panthers' identity, the keep pounding, it's about running the football, right?
Yeah.
But what their real identity is, as a franchise, is, man, do they have inside line, or just linebackers. Not edge rushers, linebackers. Sam Mills.
Yeah, he made it.
Dan Morgan. John Beeson. Luke Kuechly. Thomas Davis. They don't have that. There is nobody in the middle of their defense that runs it. They have decent players. Nobody's arguing that. I mean, to me, again, Roseboom is a depth guy. Wallace was supposed to be a starting level player, and he's been okay. And when he's healthy, he's been good. And I do wonder, and I'm not smart enough to really know this, would Peyton Wilson have fit with what Ejiro Evero wanted to do? Because this is Evero's third year, right? Evero was a holdover from the Frank Reich era. So would Peyton Wilson, formerly of NC State, would he have fit what Carolina wants to do? I cannot answer that question. That is beyond my football brain. And I know there are people out there that are going, well, he obviously would have fit. Okay. I'm probably with you. Because for my money, because I think he is more inside linebacker than anything. Not middle linebacker, but inside linebacker. I just see Peyton Wilson make plays. I see him run side to side, sideline to sideline. I just see him make plays. I see him make tackles. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got great speed. The drawback was that he's broken, right? That he had too many injuries in his history to prevent. I didn't mean to turn this into the Peyton Wilson, appreciation, segment, but that's who I really thought that they were going to go after. And then they went after Wallace, and Wallace is a good player. I don't think he is, as good as Peyton Wilson, but I think Wallace is a good player. But would Wilson have fit in the scheme Carolina wants? The problem is that, we can't trust that he's going to be around. And the response to that, and I gave it at the time, was nobody's guaranteed to be around.
Yeah.
As a football player.
Yeah.
Like, the sport breaks you.
Big time.
And for people who have heard me say this before, the way the collective bargaining agreement works, they call it a rookie, your rookie contract. If you are a first-round pick, your rookie contract can keep you tied to the team for 5 years. And then, of course, beyond that, you get the franchise tags. So they could just keep you forever against your will. If you're not a first-round pick, remember Russell Wilson as a third-round pick, he had to wait after 3 years before that was at that time. Might be 2 years now, but basically it's not a fifth year, it's a fourth year. And heck, there's no guarantee. The average length of an NFL career is under 4 years. Why do we call it a rookie contract? It's just a contract. Your entry-level contract in the NFL is prohibitive. You can't guarantee that anybody who plays a position in which there is a collision, more than likely, on every play, you can't guarantee that any player is going to be around for more than 3 years.
Oh, yeah. No.
No chance.
No. Mm-mm.
So, as a linebacker, if I'm a team, well, you don't know if he's going to be around to get his second contract. And?
Yeah.
What is there a downside to that?
I mean, just the turf's been taking out players lately.
Yeah. So, I hope Peyton Wilson has a good long career. That's why I've argued that the entry-level deals, the first contracts in the NFL are too long, but I don't expect any player if you play a high collision position.
Yeah.
I don't expect any player to reach their second contract. None.
Mm-mm.
So, anyway, the Panthers need playmakers where they have traditionally had playmakers and don't have them now. I also think they need another defensive lineman to really pair, whether it's draft or free agency. They need to continuously build and improve the defensive line. They need to do that with the offensive line. Yes, inside linebacker is important. They need another playmaker, whether it's if Xavier Legette can become that, great. But at this point, he becomes that, and it becomes a luxury because I would go out and find another option for that. I don't know. Maybe that's Jimmy Horn Jr. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's more of a gadget player.
Yeah.
But certainly, maybe he becomes something better down the road.
We have too many, if they have a good day, then they could produce something players. We need consistency. Honestly, that's the biggest thing. The team needs consistency. So, on a lot.
Yeah, but and they need it from a lot of different positions right now. Yes, they went from 2 wins to 5 wins to 8 wins. Nobody is expecting them to go to 11 wins next year. Maybe they are. I don't know. But their roster isn't good enough right now to make another 3-game leap. It is a work in progress. They are going to have free agent departures. I don't know who those are right now. But those are the areas of the team that I think definitely have to be improved. We haven't even talked about Bryce Young. Anyway, we got to get out of here. Victoria, thank you very much. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's 2026, so it's time to amp up your drink game. I'm Victoria Vodecker here for Blue Shark Vodka, which is a locally owned, family-operated North Carolina business that makes the smoothest, cleanest vodka. Blue Shark Vodka is made from 100%